I can imagine in a world that's continuously accelerating, is filled with volatility and uncertainty, there are probably people out there, who would say, "I don't really have time to worry about rest or computer systems or all this sort of stuff. We have missions to complete or, goals to reach or sales to hit or whatever it may be." How would you respond to those people?
Well, I think it comes down to this, the mission isn't going to get accomplished if the people don't have the tools to get it done. And often, I appreciated listening to this flow about fix my computer on the Air Force. It was on LinkedIn, a whole bunch of social media where people were frustrated about it. And I used to always tell people, hey, well, the example I just gave you about the end of the year, but we'll commit to spending billions of dollars on the F-35, but not a couple $1,000s to give the contracting officer that's trying to put the contract in place a computer that doesn't keep crashing and can't upload the latest software. So you have to appreciate as a leader, part of that competence is an understanding of how the individual pieces contribute to the whole. One of those small pieces could be that Achilles heel, that for lack of this one thing that this individual can't do, the mission fails. And you want to eliminate as many as just purely taking this as a mission perspective. Your objective is to eliminate all single point failures. You want everyone to be able to achieve and accomplish. And I think, example of this that I think about was I was had the opportunity to work in the launch business back when I was out at Los Angeles. And the space launch business is one of the most risk averse businesses that are around, because you put up that time, we were launching $1 billion satellites, and the most dangerous time in a satellite's life is when it's on the launch vehicle. And so there is a great deal of effort going in to making sure that everything is perfect. But at one point, we had a launch where we were unable to clear the launch because there was a laptop that had not been updated, and it failed to, they weren't able to do the last check to say, yes, this particular subsystem is ready to go. And we had to cancel the launch for that day. And the cost, just purely the cost associated with that. In the launch business, there's other examples too of where, this is not so much about the caring for people, but it's the point about how important the little things are. The last Milstar satellite we were supposed to launch in 1999, someone had mistakenly put in metrics units instead of English units, and the satellite launched into a radiation belt and never got to orbit. And it took us 7 years to build a new satellite to replace that one. Now, if you think about it, I would like to make sure that I enable the engineers that are doing that to not make that mistake, right? And think about what could I easily do to ensure that that mistake doesn't happen again, right? And everybody is focused on succeeding. Nobody wants that launch to fail, right? And so it's not for a lack of attention to details. I mean, it may have been the stress of the minute. It's hard to tell, but when you're talking about success of a launch, everybody's focused on, okay, is the rocket ready? Is this piece of hardware ready? Is that working? Well, do we have the right tools for the engineers that are helping to make the decisions? I mean, it's got to be part of it.